people were so adamant about LeBron's a coach killer stuff, they caped for Luke Walton. Luke Walton, who never won more than 35 games until the 1 year he had an injured LeBron, then got fired, went to Sacramento, got fired there. And then again, you have Frank Vogel. 3 years with LeBron, 1 championship. 9 other years, nothing close to it.
Did really well in Indiana.
And did really well in Indiana and lost to LeBron. Did poorly in Orlando.
His big three was Roy Hibbert, Lance Stevenson, and Paul George.
And now we have, it seems like, people defending Darvin Ham without ever actually defending him. And this is why it bothers me. Here's what people are saying. Darvin Ham is a great man. LeBron James should take accountability. At no point has anyone said, I think Darvin Ham did a great job with this Lakers team, and here's why.
I've heard people say that.
Okay.
He took them from 33 wins to the Western Conference Finals. He managed the Russell Westbrook thing, which wasn't his doing, for half the season until they fired him. This year, they finished 11-3. They won the in-season tournament. I mean, Darvin, look, I'm with you in that I'm not with the killing LeBron thing. We all know. Do I think LeBron ordered the hit? No. All right. But had LeBron said, look, D-Ham's fine. We're good. He would still be the coach. That's, I think, as far as you can go with LeBron. There's some cryptic stuff. There's some body language stuff that LeBron tends to do other places. And look, people don't dig when through body language or cryptic messages, you put the blame elsewhere. That's what they are not with, especially when you're as great as LeBron. And that is something he don't outright come and say, oh, it was his fault, it was his fault. But the cryptic tweets, the body language, or the tantrums at times on the sideline, all of that says it's their fault. Just accept it, even if it's not your fault. Take it as the leader that is on me. And that's what pisses people off. I'm just saying. Now, this was a mistake to get rid of Darvin Ham because who's out there? To me, the best hire would be Mark Jackson. I doubt that's happening. Mike Budenholzer, who Darvin Ham learned from?
I think Kenny Atkinson would not be a bad idea.
You think LeBron's going for Kenny Atkinson? The reason he wasn't feeling Spoelstra and David Blatt was because they hadn't done anything, but they carried themselves like they had. Kenny Atkinson's the same way. The dude that got ran off by Kyrie and KD, you think LeBron's going to accept that?
Well, the reason I say Kenny is because I don't think Ty Lue's a real option, and I think a first-time head coach is wrong. But here's the part that I just think nobody is going to, I think, kill Durant or Booker when Frank Vogel gets fired.
Oh. When Monty Williams left, I don't know if they could throw their bodies in front of it.
But I don't think it is unfair to say when you coach the Los Angeles Lakers and you get basically as good of health as you could possibly hope for from LeBron and AD at this point in LeBron's career, not with you, and all NBA, they're both going to be all NBA caliber guys, and you are all year long stuck at 10. Fight your way out to 7 and then get whacked in round 1. That, fair or not, that gets people fired.
Well, we don't.
How is it his fault that D'Angelo Russell is not as good as people think? Is it his fault that D'Angelo Russell scored 0 points? Is it his fault that Austin Reeves is not as good as everyone wants to make him out to be because he had a couple popular moments? Is it his fault that LeBron James is 75 years old? Is it his fault that AD gets banged up? Like, what are we talking about here? So this idea, again, I'm not making the argument that Darvin Ham is this amazing coach. But Nick Wright's acting like Darvin Ham is a disaster and that they would have gone far if it was only not for Darvin Ham. That's insane. That is an insane take because it's just not accurate. It's just not accurate. They are not a good team. They are not well constructed. The Minnesota Timberwolves beat the Denver Nuggets not because of better coaching. They beat them because they're a better team, because they have better weapons, because their great players are younger. That is the difference. That is the difference. So to just put this all on Darvin Ham is absurd. What about the whole in-season tournament? I thought that was a big deal. What about last season when they got to the Western Conference Finals? I thought that was a big deal. And they lost to the reigning champions. So I don't understand. It's like when things go well, Darvin Ham is fine and great, and then when they lose, it's all Darvin Ham's fault. It does not make sense. It does not make sense. And you know what? If we are saying that it's Darvin Ham's fault, then you have to give a big chunk of the credit why LeBron James won all these rings to their coaches, to Tyronn Lue, to Spoelstra. Like, hey, I mean, like which is it? When he wins despite his coaches, and when he loses, it's because of his coaches? How does that make sense? That is heads I win, tails you lose.
I don't know how good this Lakers team is, honestly. But are they better than OKC? We don't know. Minnesota.
We do know.
Certainly
They're not.
Denver,
They're not.
Dallas. Like,
no,
it's the league here. Whoever, I don't know who wants this job, to be honest, because it's not a great job. The Lakers don't tend to pay their coaches a ton of money. If you win, you're not going to get that much credit, a la Frank Vogel. If you lose, you're going to get all the criticism. And Nick, they ain't winning. So the only way they could possibly win a championship in the future is if somehow Kyrie Irving fell into their lap. He's not. This team is not going to win. Where's Denver going? Dallas, Minnesota, OKC. Memphis, I presume, is going to come up when they get Steven Adams and Ja back. Like,
Steven Adams got
No, I agree with that. The point that I am trying to make is, there is a level of find a way to lay this at the feet of, you say cryptic tweets, which, by the way, this year, we're talking about the hourglass from 2.5 months ago. That got Darvin Ham fired. There haven't been those tweets. There hasn't been those IG posts. There is stuff when it is simple as the Lakers carry themselves like they are S-Bob or La Bob or whatever it is, right? And if you don't have the easy, and I don't even want to call it excuse, explanation of one of our best players is out for the year, or, those things, and you have this type of year, it usually gets people whacked. And I just don't, I think that when you go through the actual record of the coaches, and it's like, LeBron, evidently within the Lakers, is just universally believed. He has the power to fire, but not the power to hire. We all know he wanted Ty Lue, and the Lakers made him an embarrassing offer, a lowball offer, and now are leaking to people, oh, we want Ty Lue, when he's under contract with the team that shares a building with him. So I just don't buy it. And this idea...
Yeah, I think it's gone overboard on LeBron with that. But I'm just saying, we do know he didn't save Darvin Ham. But
I guess my thing would be, why would... If he... we
disagree. Because
who you
want... I mean, have a plan. Who they going to get?
You and I disagree on the job Darvin Ham did. And I do not know this, I have not spoken to LeBron, obviously, about this. If LeBron happens to agree with me that he did a poor job, that I know enough about basketball, I know enough about the league, I think this was a poorly coached team. Why would he stop it? I think that is a fair opinion to hold, that Darvin Ham was a little out over his skis as the head coach of the Lakers. Why? So he should stop it out of what?
How do we know he underachieved? What we know is they were a 33-win team when he got there with a mess, a chemistry experiment gone awry, and he leads them to the conference finals. That's what we know.
On the 33-win team when he got there, that was not an 82-game season, right? And that was also...
No, it was an 82-game season.
So it was a 30... So was that the year LeBron was
played
out?
56 games. I mean, that's enough to win
you're right. So it was the year after 2 years after they won the title. It feels...
I'm just saying, where's the proof that they underachieved? I did think they were really maybe the second best team. Yeah. I don't necessarily think that after watching Minnesota and watching Dallas and watching OKC. The biggest thing to me is who you're going to get. If Ty Lue was available, I'd be on board.
Listen, if they ended up firing Darvin Ham to hire J.J. Redick, then I might agree with you. But the point that I am making is I do not feel it is LeBron's responsibility to save someone's job if he thinks they did a poor job. I think it is an outrageous burden that we would only ever put on him.
I know, but just the history, I think the label comes from who did a good job in the course of his 20-year career.
I think Mike Brown did a very good job.
And
I think Eric Spoelstra did a very good job.
But then the
I think
Spoelstra one is the one that people...
So what we're talking about is that we are, Brew just told us, the whole Heat team, that Dwayne Wade was the longest tenured guy and the guy who had real history with Spoelstra, right? That team goes to Pat Riley and says, hey, Pat, you knifed Stan Van a few years ago. Can you do it again? Pat Riley, to his credit, says no. And that's so LeBron's biggest coach killing was an attempted murder. And what are we talking? And so do I think he has had a good head? Do I think any of the 3 Lakers coaches have done ultimately a good job? Walton, Vogel, or Ham? I actually don't. I know
Vogel didn't do a good job.
I thought Vogel totally mishandled and was unable to get his arms around the Russ situation. I think that's what got him fired.
That was a tough situation.
Agreed, but that's what.
But he also helped. They won a championship with.
Correct. Yes, and I think sometimes you can win a championship despite coaching. I do think.
Okay, see, and I'm happy he said that. I'm happy I let this play to the very end, because what is he saying now? You can win a championship despite coaching, but then when you lose, it's your coaching's fault. Those statements are just incompatible. So I'm not going to say that, LeBron is a coach killer or whatever. But I just don't understand why it's so hard for us just to accept that LeBron James is older, that the Lakers were not a very good team. Why that blame has to fall on the coach, or that, hey, I told you LeBron James is overrated, or I told you AD can't win, or I don't understand. The team is just not a good team. That's just the reality. I mean, look at the Pelicans. Okay, they were a pretty good team, and then they got swept in the first round by OKC. Zion's injured and all that. Does that mean Willie Green doesn't know how to coach? Steve Kerr was winning rings when he had the Golden State Warriors in their prime, and now they're not. Does that mean Steve Kerr's not a good coach? Did the Warriors win despite Steve Kerr? I don't think so. Popovich winning all these rings, then loses Kawhi, loses Tim Duncan and everyone else. Can't do anything. Does that mean he doesn't know how to coach? Did they win despite his coaching? So it just doesn't make sense, and that's the problem with LeBron. The problem is because he says, this is unfair, we only do this with LeBron. LeBron brought this onto himself. That's the problem when you have had so many coaches, when you keep abandoning situations when things get hard. That is the difference, okay? And it's actually fair criticism. I'm not saying that I'm blaming LeBron for jumping around. I'm really not. But he couldn't win in Cleveland, so he said, I'm out of here, and went to Miami. He won in Miami, and then the moment things started to take a turn a little bit, and now he was facing, adversity, he said, I'm out of here. And went back to Cleveland, built another team. And then as soon as Cleveland, ran its course, and he said, all right, I'm facing adversity again, I can't win here, I'm out of here, and he went to LA. So that's what he does. When you compare it to the MJs, when you compare it to Steph Curry, Kobe Bryant, these other players, they go through the tough times. Here is the reality. If Steph Curry was LeBron James, he would have left multiple times. He would have left at the end of, what was it? Their final, what was it, 2018 or something? Right, I think, whenever KD left. If Steph Curry was LeBron James, Steph Curry would have left and went somewhere else and said, I'm out of here. And then Steph Curry, would have left again after, this season, after they won the championship, and then the following year, when they didn't, after, they lost to the Lakers. Steph Curry would have said, okay, I'm out of here. So that's the difference. And when you keep leaving and you keep abandoning your team and the franchises and coaches get fired, yes, it's you pretty much saying you are not good enough. If I keep hopping around from relationship to relationship, that's me saying these people are not good enough to date me. I want something better, something different. I'm not taking responsibility why these relationships aren't healthy and working out. It's not my fault. I'm getting rid of you and I'm going to get someone else. So that is the issue with LeBron that he brings onto himself. So I mean, like, I get it. He wants to win, and so he hops around. And if he doesn't think that he's getting what he needs, then he goes out and gets it himself, which, you know, I respect to a degree. But it's going to come with that criticism then. It just is. So Nick's acting like he's getting, like, that LeBron's getting this unfair, you know, shake at this all. And it's just like, it's not. When you are as good as LeBron James, when you are being in constant consideration of, are you the GOAT, yes or no? Everything is used for you and everything is used against you. That's just the reality of the situation. Every little thing that you do great, people are going to praise and worship. And every little tiny thing that you do bad or that can pull you back down, that'll be highlighted and emphasized. That's just the way it is. And so Nick's just acting like, boo-hoo, this isn't fair. I mean, like, cry me a river, man. The guy's had, like, what, like 10 plus coaches or something? That matters. That really matters. Why couldn't LeBron just stay with Lou for years? Why couldn't he stay with Spoelstra for years? He didn't. And both those coaches have proved to be great. And yes, he did. He tried to get Spoelstra fired, who has consistently proven to be a great coach. So it just doesn't make sense. Again, right? Vogel wins the ring, and then they fire him. And now they say, well, he had nothing to do with that ring. Okay, fine. He had nothing to do with that ring. When before they said he got them playing defense and this and that. So it just doesn't make sense to me. It really, really doesn't. Again, it's heads, I win, tails, you lose. If I win, it's because of me. And if we lose, it's because of you. That is what LeBron has created for himself his entire career. Whether it be his teammates, or whether it be his players, or whether it be the coaches, the GM, ownership, wherever. It's always heads I win, tails you lose. But those are just my thoughts. I would absolutely love to hear yours. Do you think LeBron James gets a bad rep in terms of, you know, going through all these coaches? Do you think it's his fault? Do you think Darvin Ham should have been fired? Let me know in the comments below. I read every single comment. So whether you agree with me or disagree with me, either way, let's get in some discussions. Let's get in some fights. But ultimately, let's just have some fun. And please do consider subscribing. We are building an amazing community here, and I would absolutely love to see you part of it. I want to build something that we all genuinely feel connected to. Something that we're really excited to be part of. And I think we're well on our way to doing it. And please don't forget to give this video a thumbs up, as it really does help with the visibility and the algorithm. Thank you so much, and see you next time.